What's going on, guys? We are going to go over how to do a speed ramp real quick in Davinci Resolve. At first it was pretty daunting to me. It was much more entailed and detailed than what I had seen in the past for Premiere Pro. That was much easier for me to do. Once you figure out how to do it here on Davinci Resolve, it's really easy to continue doing. What I am going to do is show you the export settings and the timeline settings that I use to make these things look crispy on Instagram. My retime process goes to optical flow, and my motion estimation mode goes to speed warp. And the reason we do that is because we're going to slow this down way below 25%. So here's a clip to start with, straight out of camera, S-Log3. All right, so now we've seen that. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and right-click the clip, retime controls, and retime curve. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to find the point that I want to start my speed ramp, which is going to be right here for me, right? So I want to add a speed point, and then I'm going to find the peak of his wheelie here. So we already found it there, right? So what I want to do is bring it up, add another speed point, then we're going to bring it down because he dropped it a little bit and then he started raising it again. And as soon as we're back in focus, we want to drop another speed point. And as you can see, it jerks just a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and add another speed point there before it jerks. I'm going to zoom in real tight here so I can see what I'm doing. I go ahead and drop this down to 25 at the points that I want to slow down, so that I can see my speed points, and I can change these to have curves, right? So these curves are going to smoothen out these curves are going to make your speed ramp more smooth. I'm going to grab the part that I don't want speed ramped, and I'm going to pull that up to 300%. And the reason I do that is because I want that super fast motion and then slowed down, right? So I want super fast, slowed way down. And that's going to go for both sections here. I'm going to bring that one up to, let's go to 200. We don't want to do 300 for this one. All right. Now I'm going to grab this line here and drop that down. Let's just go all in. Let's see what happens at 3%. See how this thing processes it. Computer doesn't like it, right? So if you're having issues with it, you can go over here and put this back in nearest and standard faster so that your computer can actually process it pre-render. As you can see, it's super jerky, so 3% is way too slow. We're going to drop it to, let's do 15%. And there you go. Nice and smooth. And then boom. Right? So let's see how long our clip is currently. We have a 5-second long clip, so we could arguably go a little bit slower. And there you go. So what I am going to do now is I'm going to unlink these clips. I'm going to pull this to here. You know what? We're going to add one more speed point. Why not? Let's drop this bad boy on down to 25. We're also going to make this a curve and bring it out to right before he disappears. So it's going to be a 6-second long clip. I'm going to go ahead and cut that out. I'm also going to remove this audio because I don't want the slowed down audio in my clip. And this is for those of you that are rushing through your content, and we can all tell it. We're going to unlink this. We're going to pull the original audio, drop that bad boy in here. I'm going to go about 50% in on the clip. And what I want to do is add in an audio transition. And what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to grab this little tab and bring it in a little bit. And this is going to be your fade in and out. All right, so we're going to start back here. We've got super slow-mo, sped up, slow-mo again, right? Now, what I don't like is the end of that first wheelie section. So we're going to go ahead and bring it to here. And we are going to get rid of the majority of that clip. Now we have a clip that is much less than 6 seconds. So we have a 3-second long clip. Obviously that's not enough for Instagram because people just be upset about that. Now what I want to do is drop a adjustment clip on top of that. I'm also going to drop my logo here. What we want to do now, hop over here into color, and we're going to adjust this color. Hop on over here, color space transform. I'm going to add a node. And so the color space transform, I'm going to change the color to, S gamut 3.cine. And then I'm going to go down and, just so you guys can see, S-Log 3 can be perfectly graded without having to do anything so long as you expose it properly. Now these are just in software color options, they're presets. You're going to want to tweak these around to really get the style that you look and feel for the shot. So I have a few LUTs here that I like to use, specifically this one. It really gives me that, what people call the cinematic view, in my opinion. It's more contrasty, a little darker, there's some more green in it, and that's just the image look that I like. Now what I do is I pull my saturation back to 36, pulls a little bit of vibrance out of that image to help bring it back just a little bit more to what we see with the naked eye. I'm going to bring my shadows up in this one, and I'm going to pull my highlights down just a little bit. So now that we've added a color grade to this, I'm going to size my logo just a little bit. We're going to do 0.5 instead of 1, and that's going to bring this down to a less pronounced. While we're at it, let's just go ahead and see what other wheelies we can find. I really enjoyed this one, so what we're going to do is we're going to let that be our exit wheelie. I'm going to go ahead and unlink the clips because I know I'm going to want to use the audio. I'm going to retime the curves, retime controls, and now we're going to find our speed point, right? So we go from this image to this one. And once we get a little closer here, I'm going to drop my speed point, and I'm going to want that to be a curve. And so at this point, I'm going to say, let's make it a little saucier. Let's go on down to 15%. We're going to change this one's speed to 200, and we're going to bring the boys out here. So right now we have a 14-second long clip. Some would argue that may be too long. I would say it's fine. I get rid of my retime controls and my retime curve. And now it's an 8.5-second long clip. Let's cut that back and let's review it, see what we think. So I'd borderline say it's a little too slow. So let's bring it up to 20%. Buttery smooth. There we go. All right. We're going to hop on over, make sure we're back in optical flow and speed warp. We like our color. So I'm going to show you my export settings here and what I use for Instagram on a regular basis. My format's going to be an MP4 codec H.265. I use hardware acceleration 38 by 40 by 2160 Ultra HD. Now some would argue that the algorithm will downplay that and ruin the image. I have yet to find a problem with it to this point, but that doesn't mean that it won't do it for you. So most people will export this in 1080p. For me, I'm still operating in the Ultra HD 4K. I do a multi-pass encode just to make sure that nothing gets all snaggy and jumpy. I'm going to add this to the render queue and we're going to render. So what you'll notice is this actually takes a little bit longer to export than you would see in other places. So now that we've completed the video, what I want to do is show you guys what we came up with. Here you go.